Software.
Hello,
Skip this version button. Alt plus S.
everybody.
This meeting is being recorded. Alert.
Of course, right when I start the video, an update notification comes up. Let's get rid of that real quick.
New virtual machine wizard.
Perfect. So, what I aim to do with this video today is do a walkthrough of the KaliLinux installation with a screen reader. I've had several questions about this throughout the months that I've been doing cybersecurity stuff over the last year or so. And there are several gotchas that you need to be aware of in order to get like a good experience with this. I ran into several myself while making this video because this actually is this fourth time I'm doing this now today.
Help button. Dialog.
Because there are some really interesting little gotchas that you shouldn't be there honestly, but they are, and that makes it more difficult for us. So yeah. A screen reader specific walkthrough is probably in order. Okay, a couple things. Prerequisites. You need an image of 2021.3 of KaliLinux. You cannot use 2021.4 at present. That doesn't really matter. You can just, it's a rolling release, so you can just update it as you're done installing. But yeah, 2021.4 has some audio issues, which it fixed in a hotfix, but apparently they're still present in the installer, which means pretty much just us have a problem with that. This is how English works. Yeah, sure. But yeah, in case that is a problem, what you do is you install 21.3 and then update afterwards. That works fine. But you can't use the installer for 2021.4 at present. I've poked people about this. I'm not sure when it will be fixed, but I'll put a link. Rather, I'll put an update in the description of the video when it gets fixed. Second thing, description of the video. Important thing. I put important stuff that I discussed in the video in said description. And I do that because I don't like videos that don't do that. I don't like having to skip through someone talking and showing things in order to find the one command that I wanted. So anything that needs to be typed in verbatim will be in the video description. Links will be there. My everything will be in there. You know, click that bell, like that notification, whatever, all the things, blah. So that's gonna be in the description. Keep note of it and definitely look at the topmost rows of the description because I'm going to be putting updates there rather than in this video. It's going to be really annoying for me to edit this afterwards, so I'm not going to do that. The description will at times contradict what I'm saying here, so definitely read it first and then come back here. You done? Great. So second thing you need is a keyboard that has media keys. If you have one at all, that would be great because the audio is probably going to be so low that it might be inaudible after the system has been installed. It's fine during the install, but after it may be at 0%. And the volume up key on the login screen is the easiest way to fix that. Again, that probably shouldn't be happening, but it is, and I've seen it happen on both virtual machines and bare metal. Same fix for both things, really. Okay.
Help button.
We're on the virtual machine creation wizard for VMware Workstation 16. I'm on Windows 11, so I need to use this.
Dialog. Welcome.
Yeah. Let's just get into it. Like a lot of things we don't really need to touch here. This is just the first window that asks if we want typical or advanced. We want typical.
Dialog install from. I will install the operating system later. Help
We'll
button.
install the
Left back
operating
button.
system later using the ISO we
Next greater
downloaded,
button.
so you can just next out of that as well.
Help button. Dialog. Test operating system grouping. Linux radio button. Check Alt plus L.
You can leave
Version
this
grouping.
alone. There is no KaliLinux option in this drop down, so you can just leave it at Ubuntu.
Help button. Left
That's
back
what
button.
I did.
Next greater button.
Doesn't really matter.
Dialog. Virtual machine name.
The name
Blank.
for your machine. Now in my previous dry runs, I mistyped Kali ones as Kali, and I kind of like the idea of that, so I'm gonna make it KaliLinux.
Location. Edit Alt plus L. Selected C. User story documents. Virtual machines. KaliLinux.
That's fine.
Browse. Button. Left back button. Next greater button. Alt. Text. Property page. The virtual machine's hard disk is stored as 1 or more 5.
I usually set the hard disk size to 80 gigs.
Item selected.
80.0. And I changed this.
Split virtual disk into multiple files. Radio button. Check Alt plus M.
That option to be
Store virtual disk as a single file. Radio button. Check Alt plus O.
that. I don't really know why it's not there to begin with. It says that smaller files will make it easier for your machine to be moved to another machine. I don't think that's true anymore.
Help button.
That used to be true in like the Windows 7 days, but I'm pretty sure
Left back
that's
button.
no
Multiple.
longer the case. So I'm going to leave it as one big blob of data,
Next
which
break.
it initially isn't going to be because it grows as your VM grows. So it's not like it's now 80. It's not like it's allocating 80 gigs on my disk already from the get-go, which great.
Unavailable. Dialog. The virtual machine will be created with the following settings.
Now, this is your finish screen. You can customize the hardware here. I elect not to because I also need to turn something else off in the other tab of the virtual machine wizard.
Left back button. Alt+D.
So I'm going to
Finish button.
finish out of here, which you cannot do with Alt F. There's no mnemonic for that on this button. They broke it, so I'm going to do Alt. No, you
System
can't do
submenu
Alt.
space.
You have to do
New virtual.
Enter just on the finish button.
Unavailable.
Like
Text.
that.
Ubuntu 64-bit Vmware Workstation. Property page.
Quick note on me talking over the screen reader. I will do that if it's not really saying anything important. Screen readers are very chatty, and you don't really need to know everything it says. Usually, I'm summarizing what it's saying, so you enough. If you're doing this along with me, you'll be able to listen to the entire prompts. But yeah, most of it's not very important. I just hit Control D for Delta.
Virtual machine settings dialog. Property page maximum.
Virtual machine settings. The D for settings apparently.
Processor summary. Memory summary.
The gigabytes of RAM it sets to by default is 4. I'm going to set that to
Property
8.
page maximum recommended. List memory summary.
I just did that.
Hard disk SCSI.
And the only thing we really need to change in this list of options is the
CD/DVD. SATA summary. Auto detect 4 of 9.
Right, that one, the CD. We're going to set that to use an ISO file rather than the physical drive, which this computer does not have. So
use ISO image file. Radio button check Alt+M.
there we go.
Use browse button Alt+D.
Browse.
Pressed. Browse for ISO image.
Now my Kali image lives in C users Flori Kali. And there it is.
KaliLinux 2021 selected. Virtual machine settings dialog. Connect.
That is set. Now we go to this other tab.
Add remove OK cancel button.
Tab control.
Help button. Tab control.
Here it is. And we hit right to go to the options tab.
Options tab selected.
Then tab once.
Property.
Then all the way down this list control to get to the advanced settings.
Appliance view top advanced sum.
There it is. Now finally we need to turn off the side channel litigations security thing.
File locations log edit red OK button.
Oh.
Firmware type grouping chain settings grouping disable side channel mitigations for Hyper-V enabled host checkbox.
Yeah, here we are. This needs to be enabled.
Checked.
So it's disabled because you check something to disable it. That's how that works.
OK button.
Okay, we're done here.
KaliLinux Vmware Workstation property.
Next thing we do is boot up the machine, which you do with Control B. Before I do that, it's going to beep at us when I've pressed the key. At that point, you send input to the virtual machine with Control G, press S, then Enter to start the speech-assisted installer, which essentially is a text installer with speakup running. So let's do that. Control B. Pain. Beep. Control G. S. Enter. Control Alt. Now, if we OCR the screen at this point, you're going to see the boot messages.
Recognizing result document. Mounting slash do pane. Recognizing result document. Mounting slash do slash pane. Recognizing result. Please wait while we probe your sound card. S.
I couldn't not have
Select a language. Choose the language to be used for the installation process. The selected language will also be the default language for the installed.
I'll spare you the spoiler. The default is English, so let's go with that.
Select your location. The selected location will be used to set your time zone and also for it.
I don't really care. All these work with like a number system, so you pick a numbered option. Some lists are so long that the topmost part scrolls off the screen. That's definitely true for the language one. So if you need a language that's not English, you're gonna want to like, find your number and type it. The default is 20, which is English from memory. Now here the default is the US. I want the UK, so I'm gonna do
15. Configure the keyboard. Key map to use.
Again, I think the default is American or American International, which I'm fine with, so I'm going to hit enter.
Detecting hardware to find installation media 2%. Loading additional components.
Yep, it's loading all the
30%.
things. A whole bunch of progress bars,
40%.
blah blah blah. I'm going to just control
80%.
to shut the screen reader up because it's literally just saying percentages at this point.
Detecting link on FZ.
It's checking like the DHCP, the network
20,
setup, and various other hardware things.
6,
And in a
7,
moment, it's going
8,
to ask us about our host name.
12%. Configure the network. Please enter the host name for this system.
Now, this VM is called KaliLinux, so we'll just go with that.
KaliLinux. The domain name is the part.
Domain name, we'll do super
hexor.org.
because that's what we are, of course. This is why we're doing an intro video. We're already like super mega advanced script kiddie ultimate. Let's go.
Set up users and passwords. A user account will be created for you to use instead of.
Okay, it wants my full name, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check the bottommost row with with caps lock U.
Full name for the new user.
Yes, that's what it wants. So we'll make it super or whatever. Super
SUPER.
Obviously, don't put this here. This VM is not going to be used for anything but my own personal maybe THM things and other things. It's not going to actually be used for anything anything resembling professionality, so please don't put this in your actual thing if you're going to be using this for like an engagement, because obviously that name can be seen by people if they do certain things. So
select a username for the new account.
Username, we'll just make it Kali. Tradition.
Space. A good password will contain
the password will not be Kali. You need to be a little bit careful with these, because for some reason, if you're not careful, it actually doesn't think your passwords are the same. And I don't exactly know why that is.
Exclamation.
Yeah, see, there it went.
A good password will.
My guess is that if you hit backspace or other keys rather than letter keys, it puts a control character.
Setting up the clock 0%, 100%, detecting disks and all other hardware to 40%,
which I'm going to go with the defaults with, because there's no real point to do anything fancy at this point. The first option here is use the entire disk. For a VM, that's fine, because there's nothing else on this disk, so you can just use that. That's
Note
cool.
that all data on the disk you select will be erased.
Yes, that's fair. There's only one disk. So we have to select one again.
1. Selected for partitioning. CUSI 30.
Okay.
3. Sept 1. All files in one partition.
Again, that's fine with me. You can do like the /home on a different partition, as well as /temp and /var. I'm cool with everything in one partition, so we're just going to continue that.
Guided partitioning.
Yep, blah, blah, blah.
12. Finish partition.
Here you can set up logical volume management and other such things if you would want that. I don't want that, so I'm going to hit 12 to just continue on.
If you continue, the changes listed.
Now we have to go phone tree style.
1.
Yes,
2. No.
Hit 1 for yes, hit 2 for no. We'll do 1 for yes.
Partitions formatting.
Okay, it's writing that partition table and installing the base system.
17%.
Which gives me a bit of time to talk. So I'm going to make more videos of this nature in 2022. Probably me going through Hack the Box Academy challenges, maybe try Hack Me challenges.
Partitions. Installing the
and they'll be very similar to what I'm doing now. I'll read out loud what the thing says. The challenge, and then we're just going to go into our attack box and see if we can figure out how to do it. Try Hack Me in particular usually has you follow a particular path, and this whole idea of these videos is do what other people are doing unless you can't. So even if it's obviously not going to work quite well, we are going to try to keep with what the instructions say. That means we are going to go in over RDP. That means we are going to try anything they tell us, unless the program is to such a degree inaccessible that we can't. Burp Suite comes to mind. That is just a very inaccessible program, which you will want to have to do in with Z-Attack Proxy in Windows instead. In the meantime, a software selection dialog has come up, and it's fine. The way I understand this to work is you just give it a different number and the other defaults stay the same. It's a bit odd, but I'm going to select
prompt.
Oh. was pressing caps lock up for the NVDA key, which is not what this is. You have to use caps lock U to go up.
3, no.
So the only thing we need to change on the default is that we don't use KDE, but we use GNOME, and we don't use XFCE either. GNOME is by far the most accessible, so we'll pick GNOME here.
3. 12%.
And let it do its thing for a bit longer. The media key
20%.
thing will have to come up in a while, because at some point it's not going to talk to us properly. We'll see what happens instead, and it's actually quite hilarious what must have happened, because they tried and they failed. But yeah, as I said, I do intend to do more videos like
30%.
this where we go through things that are supposedly impossible for us to do. I'll also make write-ups. Like I said, I don't really like videos all that much, but I can't deny that having a visual screen reader audio, and myself all in the same thing is the easiest way to do with a video. Having said that, though, I will always make sure that the things you would ever want to reference are in the description, so you don't have to
40%.
see if you don't want to. That may mean that actual commands to solve a challenge will be behind the link, so people don't see them accidentally when they're trying to not spoil themselves. Like, I don't think you can do sweater tags on YouTube descriptions. If you can, well, even better. I'll have to dig into that. For this video, I'll probably put the link to the image, because it's not really easy to find if you don't know where to look. I'll put the command that we're about to use in a little while.
50%.
Possibly my socials and my website, where I put write-ups generally, and just a quick summary of what we did here. In the meantime, I have to fill time, because this thing is just like really boringly installing itself, and I really hope that the desktop environment will come up, because last time I did this, I was almost done, and then I didn't get the actual GNOME to come up. I really hope it'll do that this time. Seems my throat
60%.
is also hoping for that. But yeah,
70%.
we're almost done with the install. So as you can see, it's quite doable if you know what to do.
80%.
Honestly, the biggest issues come up after install. So the fun bit has still to start, and I hope it'll let us do it, because what they've actually done is they have installed Orca. They didn't have that last year. So when I did this last year, Orca didn't come up at all. And what they've done now is Orca comes up, but Orca doesn't have anything to speak through, so it starts pushing at Speech Dispatcher.
90%.
And Speech Dispatcher essentially throws a fit and says, well, I have nothing to talk through because I don't have a speech synthesizer installed. Which is rather amusing, because the Speech Assistant install obviously does have one. So, really a matter of, oopsie, we forgot something here. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to fix. You just need to install a couple packages over apt.
100%.
Which I will be able to show off soon. This is almost done.
Installing grub bootloader, 16%, 33%.
So now it wants to install the bootloader, which you will want to do, because
yes,
obviously
2,
otherwise you
no.
can boot.
Install the grub bootloader to your primary drive.
Yes, you want to do that, so you do
1
for yes.
Space. You need to make the newly installed system bootable by installing the grub bootloader on a bootable device. The usual way to do this is to install grub to your primary drive UFI partition/boot record. You may instead install grub to a different drive or partition, or to removable media device for bootloader installation. 1. Enter device man.
So you can pick something, or it can just suggest you the primary drive in your machine, which in this case is /dev/sda. That second option is fine, so let's go with
2.
that.
50%. 66%, 83%, 100%, finishing the installation, 3%, 12%, 21%.
This will take a little while again to finish, after which we can
30%,
reboot our device.
33%.
And we should have a fully installed version of KaliLinux or will we? That's all for today, Nana. It would be a fun cliffhanger to end off with, but no, we're almost done.
42%. Finish
Now,
the installation. Installation complete.
we're done.
Installation is complete.
This is done now. So it says, essentially, if I press enter now, it's going to reboot, which I will let it do.
48%.
Yeah, now it's rebooting. So in a minute, we're going to... That's the boot beep for the actual system. It did tell us to remove the disk. I found that it doesn't really matter if you do that, yes or no. Let's look at the boot messages again.
Recognizing result bottom T Ubuntu 64-bit. Pane.
Okay, there's nothing there yet.
Recognizing result bottom T Ubuntu 64-bit. Pane.
Nothing there yet.
Recognizing result bottom T Ubuntu 64-bit. Pane. Toolbar. MKS window number 0. Recognizing result docket super actor. Not listed. Kali. Offensive. Bottom offensive.
Uh-oh.
Kali not list super at December 30th, 1537.
So there is no speech.
Pane.
Or so it seems. But if I go into my VM and I use the volume up key on my keyboard a few times...
Module. It seems your speech dispatcher is working, but none of its output modules, except me. Please check out your log file to see what is the problem. You can find it in /var/log/speech-dispatcher/speech.log or in your home in .speech-dispatcher/log/speech.log. This is the dummy output module. It seems your speech dispatcher is working, but none of its output modules, except me. Please check out your log file to see
So it's going
what
to
is
be
the problem.
doing that every
You can
time
find it. This is the dummy
Orca
output
tries to
module.
talk.
It seems your speech dispatcher is working,
And the
but none of
problem
its
here
output
is
modules,
that
except me.
it's trying to
Please
use
check out your
something
log
that
file to
it isn't
see
able
what
to
is the
find.
problem. You can
Now
find
the
it in
easiest way that I found to fix this is to enable SSH
or
on
in
this
your home
machine,
in .speech-dispatcher
which we will do. So
/log.
to do that, you go back into the thing, you do Control-Alt-F3
This is
to open up a text console. You could also do it here. Like you could also run the installation from here. I find it easier to see what I'm doing, honestly. But you could do it here. We're going to have to log in. I type my username Kali. And I'm typing my password. And now we're going to have to check with OCR if it succeeded.
Recognizing result document. KaliLinux Linux password. Linux Linux programs included new just the exact distro.
It did. So okay. What we need to do now is type sudo sudo space systemctl system control space start space ssh enter. It's going to ask us for our password, which I will give it. And now we're going to get out and check the
4:39 p.m.
time first. Okay, that's fine. We're going to check our results.
Already in the content recognition result.
Oh.
Pane. Recognizing result document.
Let's see what it says here.
Kali file password Linux the property exact individual Kali news /Linux permitted BG applicable Kali developers. This is a minimal influence HTTP run bullet sudo step speed trust who receive the usual lecture administrator. Number 1, respect the privacy of others. Number 2, think before do type. With great power comes great responsibility.
So that's our regular sudo. You're doing root action things.
Sudo password for Kali. XD664. Bottom XD664.
And we didn't get any output, which usually means that it worked. So what we can do now is we can go out of here and do Alt V.
Context menu. Full screen CTRL plus Alt plus context menu.
Right arrow.
Power sub menu P.
And then in this menu, the
KaliLinux Vmware Workstation. Toolbar.
actually I could just
Pane.
go Alt and check it. Hello.
Toolbar. File Alt plus V Alt plus V VM Alt plus M.
Yeah. Oh, it's Alt M actually. Alt M to get straight here. The VM menu
Context
has
menu.
an SSH option in it.
Settings. Reinstall manage sub capture screen CTRL
Which
plus Alt
is
plus
very useful
PRTSCNC.
for this because it takes out the guesswork for us.
Snapshot sub menu SSH sub menu H. Connect to SSH S.
So we're going to connect to SSH.
Connect to SSH dialog. Connect to KaliLinux using SSH username Alt plus U blank.
And given we just enabled SSH on the VM, we should be able to do that. Make sure your caps lock isn't on,
Caps lock on. Caps lock off.
because sometimes, messing with the caps lock key in VMs can do it on Windows as well. You fill in your username, which is Kali in this case.
Port edit Alt plus T selected 22. Options edit Alt plus O blank. Connect button Alt plus C.
The rest is fine. You can just hit Alt C or Enter to connect.
C Windows System 32 CMD.exe. Windows System 32 Open SSH 22 Kali at 192.168.124.136 terminal blank. The authenticity of host 192.168.124.136. 192.168.124.136 can't be established at 25,519 key.
Yeah, it's telling us it doesn't know who this SSH thing we're going through is. We will say yes for it's okay to use it anyway.
Warning, permanently added 192.168.124.136 at 25,519. The list of known hosts. Kali at 192.168.124.136 as password.
It wants our password. We will give it its password. Here we are.
Linux KaliLinux 5.10.0 Kali
And
9.
we have a command line shell into this box now. We have a shell! Nah, just kidding. Okay. What we do now is sudo apt get update, just in case.
Sudo password for Kali.
We have to enter our have to enter our password again because we're doing scary appany things.
0% working. H.
I'm not going to let it speak because it's
R.
just
Hit colon 1
gonna be
HTTP
loud
blank.
and blah.
Blank. Blank. Plus dash dollar. Plus Kali blank. Reading package list done.
Okay, that's done. So
F.
what we need to install is a few things. Sudo apt-get install espeak-ng speech-dispatcher-espeak-ng. And between espeak-ng and speech dispatcher espeak-ng, there is a space because that's two different packages. Press enter.
Re-adding package list done. Building dependency tree 0%.
And now if we go up,
After this operation, 16.8 MB of additional disk space will be used.
it wants to install
Need to get 16.3 MB of ARC6 upgraded. 6 newly installed. Libpin, libdel10 and lib6 locale speech dispatcher audio plugins. The following packages will be up. ESPNG data live speak ng1 lib audio 0 lib sonic 0 speech dispatcher speak. The following new packages will be installed.
all the things. Okay, we're going to say yes for that. We're going to let it install.
0% working. G colon 3 HT 9. 4 G 7
Blah,
GG
blah,
90
blah.
4 PR 1 PR
Whole
C-
bunch
C-
of
C-
output.
CH.
It's probably going to want to restart SSH.
Blank. Restart services during package upgrades without asking yes/no.
Yes, do that.
Plus HR plus EUEHUEHHE.
Shh.
Set. Done. Generation speech disk curve services disabled or a static unit not running, not starting it. Setting up lib audio 0 colon AM64 1.16. Setting up lib sonic 0 colon AM64.
Okay, great. Now,
Plus blank. Processing triggers for Kali menu. Processing grid. Setting up ESPNG 1.50 plus DFSG 9.
it looks like it worked. So, if we now go back
KaliLinux
to
Vmware
Vim, I
Workstation.
don't think it's
KaliLinux.
going to work yet. We're going to go back to where we were with Control Alt F2. Control Alt
On the
F1.
output module. It seems your speech dispatcher is working, but none of its output modules, except me. Please check out your log file to see what is the
So yeah,
problem.
it's still
You can
having
find
KaliLinux,
it on
existing
KaliLinux,
log
KaliLinux.
prices, that'll the sound of it.
Plus dash dollar.
So what we're going to do is just give it a quick
log,
reboot.
or in your home
Sudo
inbox speech
reboot
dispatcher
now.
C connection to 190.
And now with a little bit of luck,
KaliLinux Vmware Workstation. Pane.
Screen reader on. Window.
we have
Super
a
hacker push
screen
button.
reader.
30 push button grade. Super hacker push button.
And there you have it. You can now log into your speaking KaliLinux system. And I am glad that I finally managed to get through this whole procedure without screwing up. But yeah, that is the whole thing of it. You need to know a couple things, but if you know a couple things, you can do this. So normally, if you don't have a screen reader running and you use those media keys, it's going to give you a little blip that says the new volume. For some reason, it doesn't do that when there's already audio playing, and it considers any screen reader holding on to pulse audio as audio playing. So it will not do that. You'll have to use listen to the screen reader to determine your volume. But you'll want to press it at least a couple, like 6 or 7 times before you start hearing actual audio. So yeah, that's the final bit. I hope this was useful to people. I really do. And now I'm going to do my best to find the Zoom MIDI controls again
Zoom
to
free.
stop this video.
See Windows System 32 CMD.x2 free.
That is actually hard.
Zoom free. Zoom window.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.
KaliLinux Vmware Workstation. Pane. Folder. Search task with chat. Microsoft Edge button.
Oh.
Notification overflow. Zoom button. Zoom meeting controls window. Search CTRL plus F button. Show me. Copy meeting invitation. Personal meeting ID. My personal meeting. Meeting list. My personal meeting ID. KaliLinux Vmware. Zoom. My fame personal meeting control. C. Window meeting controls 4 or 5. Mute. Currently audio settings drop down button. Mute. Stop share. Back to bottom button. More drop down apps button. Annotate button. Pause share. Alt plus T. Share option drop down button. New share. Alt plus shift chat button. More options for open participants panel. Security drop down button. Video settings drop down button.
Well, after that little exposition of how Zoom looks from a screen reader user perspective, I'm going to end off here. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
End meeting or leave meeting window. Leave meeting button. End meeting for all button.